Best bites forever.
Hey everyone, I'm Chef Alicia, and in this video you'll learn to make this Asian Inspired Ceviche. I'm starting off here by peeling and cutting up 2 mangoes. Mangoes are a tropical stone fruit, also known as a drupe, and they have a very large pit in the center, which I will show you in just a second. I have obviously peeled this mango, and I'm cutting kind of flat pieces from it because the pit inside of it is flat, and there it is right there. So once you get to that, just go ahead and stack the pieces that you cut up, cut them into long sections I like to refer to as French fries, and then you're going to turn it and dice those. Mangoes have a ton of nutrients in them, and they are believed to aid in digestion, boost your immunity as well as your sex drive, and even prevent certain cancers. This is a jicama, and it is my next ingredient. If you're not familiar with jicama, it is a vining plant. It actually grows beans, but the beans are toxic, so you don't want to eat those. The root, which is the part that we do eat, is crunchy and juicy with kind of a sweet and nutty flavor. Jicama is also really good for you. It's very high in dietary fiber, which makes it heart healthy. It's also low in calories, which is like the opposite of the mango, which is a very high calorie fruit, although mango also is high in dietary fiber, so good for you as well. Here I did cut out that kind of little bad spot that was in my jicama, and then again I'm going to slice it into planks, so the long pieces, and then into French fries, and then again into the dice. Just as a little side note here, I like to cut this into French fries and put it in my refrigerator because my kids love eating it that way. Next, I'm adding in some Daikon Radish, about a 2-inch piece, which I will peel and chop. Daikon Radish is mild in flavor compared to a red radish. Basically, it tastes like a red radish without the pepperiness. Is that a word? I don't know. It is now. I'm going to also cut this into pretty small pieces. A lot of you probably don't realize this, but you can also eat the leaves of radishes. However, some of the varieties' leaves can have like kind of a prickliness to them. You can easily get rid of the prickliness if you want to eat the leaves by cooking them. There are also a few varieties of radishes that are bred so that you can eat the leaves. Moving right along here to my red radish. I'm going to be adding in 3 of these. Not only are they going to add some really great color to my ceviche, they also have a ton of vitamins, including A and C, which are antioxidants. They also have B6, K, fiber, zinc, potassium, phosphorus, folate, magnesium, copper, calcium, iron, manganese, and omega-3 and 6 fatty acids, which is pretty impressive. The next thing I'm doing is zesting a lime. I'm going to get about a tablespoon of zest, which I'm going to chop up. I'm also going to be juicing a bunch of limes until I end up with a cup of lime juice. I'm going to take the zest and move it right into my little bowl that I have going on and move on to my green onions. I have 6 green onions here, and I'm just going to remove the root end. Then I'm going to chop these up into thin slices. I'm going to be using the white part as well as the green part. And since I've been telling you a little bit about nutrition, I might as well tell you that green onions are a great source of thiamine, B6, folate, magnesium, phosphorus, zinc, and copper. Here is my ginger, which is also going in. I'm adding a 1/4 cup, but I'm going to come back to that in a few minutes. This is a shishito pepper. Shishitos are a mild pepper, and they are mostly associated with Japan and Japanese cooking. What's really interesting about shishito peppers is that about 1 in 10 is spicy, though they are normally mild. But even the spicy ones are not going to be as spicy as a hot jalapeno, so don't worry too much about that. I'm going to be using 2 shishito peppers and 1 jalapeno in this recipe, and I am removing the seeds from both kinds of peppers, slicing them thin, and then cutting them into a dice before I add them into my bowl. So into the bowl they go, and that is looking really pretty already. This is my squid. So for this recipe, I decided to go ahead and cook my squid just for a couple of minutes. I cooked it for 3 minutes in boiling water, and then I dropped it into an ice bath, and then I drained it in a colander. Squid has a very mild taste, and when you cook it properly, it's very, very tender. You may be interested to know that squid is a cephalopod, which means head, foot, and they are a close relative of the octopus. There are over 300 species of squid in the ocean, but only 3 comprise our domestic supply, so we don't actually eat that many of the species. Squid is very mild in flavor and should be very tender when cooked. Here I've added in 1 cup of that fresh lime juice that I talked about, and I'm also adding in a half a cup of orange juice at this time, and I'm going to come back to that orange juice as well. I want to give this a nice little stir before I add in 1 teaspoon of salt and a little bit of pepper. If you're serving this on the cucumbers, you may want to add just a little bit more salt, but I went with the 1 teaspoon because I'm going to be serving this with chips and I don't want it to be too salty. I'm going to give this a nice stir so that everything is well combined, and that's how much juice is in there right now, but the salt is going to draw a lot of the juice out of the fruits and vegetables that I have in here. I'm also going to be adding in just a little bit of cilantro, probably about a tablespoon. I don't want to add a lot because I don't want the flavor to overtake what I'm doing. I really want this to have more of a ginger and orange flavor to it to give it that kind of Asian-y feel, but I want the cilantro in there for the color. So I'm going to go ahead and add that into my bowl, and again I just want to give it a nice little stir. Of course, all of the cilantro is sticking to my fingers and not cooperating. So if you are going to be putting your squid in here raw, at this time I want you to add another half cup of lime juice because you need that extra acid to cook the squid. But I have went with another half a cup of orange juice because I did cook it in the boiling water. So as a healthy option here, I am going to be putting cucumbers on the side so that people have something else other than chips. I'm cutting them kind of thick, and I'm cutting mine rounded, but just as an example, you could also cut them on a bias, which means basically slanted like so. I'm adding more ginger in this, so it's been about 20 minutes since I added my ginger, and I want more ginger flavor. I'm going to end up adding a half a cup of ginger along with 2 tablespoons of rice wine vinegar and half a teaspoon of sugar, which didn't make it on the video. There, I'm just adding a bit more ginger. I'm kind of tasting, stirring, and giving it a little taste to get the ginger where I want it. And I want you to do the same thing at home if you make this recipe. Start off with the 1/4 cup of ginger, wait 15 minutes, and then taste it. And if you can taste the ginger, then great. If you can't, add a little bit more until you can taste it. It should be one of the main flavor components, but sometimes ginger is very strong, and sometimes it's not quite as strong. That's why I want you kind of tasting as you go along. So I'm giving this a little taste test, and it is absolutely where I want it, so I'm going to leave it alone. But I do want to show you how much juice has come out of the fruit and veggies, just like I said that it would, and obviously we also added a bit more in. This is going into the fridge. Do not even think about serving it for at least 3 hours, and this is what mine looked like when I did serve it. Hi again, everyone. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please give it a thumbs up or a like or whatever you want to call it. Also share it with all of your friends because sharing is caring. And if you're not already a subscriber, please go ahead and click on the subscribe button and be a subscriber now because you don't want to miss any of the upcoming awesomeness that's coming because it's awesomeness. And you can find me on my other social media, including Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google+, and bestbitesforever.com, which is my blog. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Happy cooking, everyone.
bestbitesforever.com